Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Well, no doubt about it, President-elect Donald Trump is the big story, although he doesn't appear to like the media very much. I'm joined now by some distinguished commentators here. John Bussey, Associate Editor of the Wall Street Journal, Nina Burley, Political Correspondent at Newsweek, and John Authors of the Financial Times. Welcome to you all. Nina, if I can start with you, is this the most hostile president that the American media have ever had to deal with?
Certainly the most hostile president I've had to deal with, and I go back to the Clinton years. But I think the hostility isn't so much the problem as the kind of the Twitter feed. You know, that he's ruling by Twitter right now, and journalists jump and respond. We're like Pavlovian dogs responding to these tweets, and the question really is going to be, at what point do we stop responding immediately to every tweet and start investigating, as the Financial Times has been doing so well, the Russian mafia ties and the real estate deals and the income tax returns that we have not seen yet.
But if he's not doing lengthy interviews or explaining himself, Twitter is news, isn't it, when he says something on there?
It is, but it's also his impulse. It's Donald Trump playing to the people that got him elected. He's somebody who likes to show that he's energetic on an issue. The Twitter feed lets him do that. I don't think that, there's been hostility less clearly voiced than Donald Trump from a president toward the media in the past. Richard Nixon, even Obama had his frictious relationship with the White House press. So I'm not, some of this is theater. It's playing to the people who got him elected, who are looking for him to shake things up, including relationships not just with Congress and our overseas allies, but with institutions like the press.
John Authors, is he also trying to basically bypass scrutiny?
That certainly appears to be the way. The fact that we still don't know about his tax returns and the fact that he won the election is sufficient to establish that we don't need to see his tax returns is obviously the most spectacular example from the last few days. And that's the biggest problem that we in the mainstream media, which I now discover I've been a member of all this time, not working for any particular newspaper at the mainstream media. The problem we have is that Twitter does allow him to go directly past the standard media, the standard intermediaries, and it leaves us with a very big issue how we deal with it. It's a problem that I'm sure it's being argued about in our newsroom, and I'm sure it's being argued about in all the others. It is information, it is news, but can we really let him get away with it?
It's also not just Twitter, is it? I mean, when he does sit down and do an interview, he does things like accuse the German Chancellor of making a catastrophic mistake.
Yes, he does. He says outrageous things, and that also is kind of a diversion from what's going on. We don't know how seriously to take him. I mean, people who voted for him didn't take him seriously. I mean, it's coming out now. He promised to repeal Obamacare. Well, a lot of his voters benefit from
tonight,
Obamacare.
I think he said everyone's going to have health care.
So he's a Bernie bro, really.
What about, I mean, in Britain, the government and supporters of Brexit have really seized on what he was saying there. Do you think he is going to be a close ally of Britain's Brexit government?
Well, he appears to have it very much in his heart that he thinks Brexit is a good idea, and he's presumably going to be a much more natural ally for the British than he is for the continental Europeans, who he's gone to very much greater lengths to antagonise. Whether there's really anything useful for the British in that relationship is a very much more difficult question. Britain has more than 2 years just to disentangle itself from the EU before it can even start negotiating with a Trump-led America, and even under a deal-oriented transactional president like President Trump it's going to take a while to fix a deal with him.
What do you think, John Bussey? I mean, are we going to be the best mates of Donald Trump, Theresa May?
Look, I think some of the positions he takes are meant to be outlier positions. They are meant to start the conversation to try to get to a place he wants to go, and he's going to let his Sherpas and his intermediaries kind of work work toward the center or work back toward some equilibrium from the, rather sometimes outlier position he takes. But look, on Angela Merkel, it's a provocative, perhaps rude thing to say, but a lot of people in Germany feel that it was catastrophic. A lot others in Europe do. Clearly, the rise of right-wing parties in a lot of Europe reflect that. So some of this is the boldness with which he says it and the rudeness with what it says.
Is he going to be Britain's closest ally?
I think that remains to be seen. I don't know.
Okay, thank you all very much indeed.